Hey everyone, Jordan here with 9 to 5 Toys, and it is almost time for Battlefield 2042. With early access for eligible players starting this Friday, EA reached out to quite a few members of the press for a pre-launch review event this week. During this event, we got to try out all-out warfare in the form of Breakthrough and Conquest with up to 128 players, the new extraction-focused Hazard Zone, and even spent some time with the mashup game type Battlefield Portal. All in all, things felt much better than the beta, and it was a blast to finally see what Hazard Zone and Battlefield Portal are going to be like. So stick around and make sure you're subscribed, and let's check out some gameplay. So first off, this is not a full review of Battlefield 2042. We didn't really get to see what progression looks like, and a chunk of the time was spent battling bots rather than players. But I wanted to share some of my thoughts, experiences, and gameplay from the press event, as it was a great way to get a feel for what's to come. Overall, on my end, everything went really smoothly. But there were quite a few players who had trouble getting into the servers on the first day. And since they couldn't get in, and there was a limited number of participants in the first place, much of the first day was spent battling against bots. So for Battlefield 2042, DICE has opted to fill empty spots in his server with AI to give it the full chaotic Battlefield experience. While this definitely adds to the intensity, bots just aren't up to the same standards as real players, of course. But bots can also be disabled in the Battlefield Portal mode if you set up your own rules, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. Alright, so day one was spent playing two all-out warfare modes, Breakthrough and the Battlefield Classic Conquest. Even though the first games employed quite a few bots, I really enjoyed the scale and intensity of the Breakthrough game type much more than Conquest. In Breakthrough, the attacking team must capture and hold a few objectives in a certain sector to continue to the next sector with a new set of objectives while the defending team tries to stop them. It's a pretty incredible sight to behold, with up to 64 players charging towards an objective held by another up to 64 players. When we were moving towards the second objective of the first game, there was this moment where I was pushing through a dip to revive some teammates with a ridiculous amount of tracer fire flying overhead in every direction. And I thought to myself, I feel like I'm in a Star Wars movie. This feels like I'm taking part in the battle on Hoth. Battlefield 2042 All-Out Warfare takes the intensity and sometimes ridiculous sandbox nature of the previous games and cranks it up to the next level with this massive player count. Everybody who was participating was assigned a special EA account. They were either a reviewer or a staff member, and a lot of the players in the game were staff who I'm sure have plenty of time, playing these builds already. And after getting killed repeatedly by staff with a DM7 marksman rifle, I decided to give it a spin and found myself really enjoying it. With the red dot sight, it's capable in close quarters, but you just use that plus menu to pop on a 3 or 4x scope, and you can do some damage at distance as well. Day 2 brought the game mode that I was most excited for trying out, which was Hazard Zone. It was kind of a big unknown going into this event. We've heard that it is an extraction-based game type where players must complete an objective and reach an extraction point to get out with the loot. And that is pretty true to how it actually played out. Players use a Hazard Zone-specific currency to choose gear before going into a match, kind of like Counter-Strike, and then try to escape with data drives that exchange into more currency. If you and your squad are eliminated during the match or miss the extraction, you lose all the data drives, but you still earn currency by eliminating opponents. The squad I was playing with extracted a couple of times during the 2-hour game time, and this mode is intense and definitely calls for teamwork in our experience. Here's some gameplay of our first extraction, which we were pretty excited about.
I'm getting hit.
Can't quite tell where from. Oh,
they're on the hill over here.
Where?
Nearby, very nearby. Oh shit, we're surrounded.
AI.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but we had player characters nearby too, and they might take advantage of this.
Coming down.
Oh, I'm working my way to you, Mike.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm in bad shape.
Oh my gosh, there's no cover here. Can I get in the Jeep? You got 30 seconds to get back.
Right above us. Get in the back, get in the back, get in the back. Hustle.
Watch out for grenades, I'm gonna have smoker.
Oh wait, we're in a bad spot, aren't we?
That's coming in.
Good kill, good kill. Oh, that was
Yeah, that was great.
There are also AI in this game mode that will appear at objectives, and some others involved in the event mentioned that they rarely saw other players, only AI in their matches. Hazard Zone is supposed to support up to 32 players for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S, and up to 24 players for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I imagine that when the game is live and the servers are more filled up with players, there will be more interaction with people and less AI. While it's nice to have the intensity and combat thanks to AI, they are kind of bland to play against, and players give a much more interesting game experience. Oh, we got some AI on the right.
Head zone! Head zone!
Oh, I see.
Occupying forces!
Jeez.
Got one flank into the left.
Extraction aircraft closing in. Won't be long now.
Is that all of them? You grabbing drives?
I think so. I'm grabbing the drive now. Got
That's
it.
one. Plenty more
Are there
drive down
more?
there.
I think there might be.
I'm not
There's
certain.
another door.
Get another drive out of it.
I'm secured the drive!
Oh, wow.
Got another
Freaking
capsule
pinata
coming in.
over here.
Should have forces
Hazard Zone
down there.
matches last for about 15 minutes, so it's pretty quick and easy to get in and out and on to the next game. And you'll need to purchase your loadout before every single match, so you don't really carry anything over, although there are streaks that unlock with every extraction. You can get an extraction streak, which unlocks the ability to get another tactical device. In a live Q&A after the play period had ended, they talked about how they are looking to collect feedback from players even as the game is live to tweak Hazard Zone further, referring to it as a living game mode that will evolve over time. I see me and my friends who have been playing Warzone for what seems like forever really getting into this game mode. It's an intense experience that requires teamwork and communication and makes for some really enjoyable gameplay. There isn't really an end game to this mode as far as we can tell, it just seems to be unlocking character achievements and visual upgrades to your character card. Experience earned in Hazard Zone will level up your character though, and unlock weapons and attachments, just like the other game modes. So you can spend your time playing All Out War to unlock more weapons and attachments, or you can do that in Hazard Zone as well. The third day was focused on Battlefield Portal and was the longest day of the event, with good reason. Battlefield Portal takes assets from Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 2042 and puts them into a gigantic customizable sandbox. This will be a modder's dream. Accessed through a web browser, users can create and tweak game modes ranging from standards like Rush or branching into absurd custom creations like the example they showed us, which was a free-for-all deathmatch with rocket launchers where the only way to get another rocket was to jump in the air 5 times. Needless to say, it led to some ridiculous gameplay. So it is pretty wild to think of all the different scenarios that you can enact with in Battlefield Portal. And, the devs from Ripple Effect, the company behind Portal, mentioned during a Q&A that, of course you can create modes like Zombie and Infection and, pretty much anything else that you can think of. Besides tweaking parameters like player count, which weapons are available and on what map, and how much life and how much damage weapons do, Battlefield Portal also implements a logic editor in the form of their rules editor. They demonstrated this in the presentation by creating the 5 jumps to get a new rocket mechanic. So at its base in Portal, there are 5 core game modes that can be manipulated to your heart's content. Those modes are Rush, Conquest, Conquest Large, Team Deathmatch, and Free-for-all. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Rush, so having the ability to relive that game type is very appealing to me. The devs also alluded to the open-ended nature of Battlefield Portal. They've already brought in assets from 3 additional Battlefield games, but it really feels like the sky is the limit here. They have plenty of more content in the vault that can be brought out to keep Portal fresh. In the chat window during the Battlefield Portal presentation, there were quite a few people requesting the Metro map be added, which would be a great addition. 128 players on Metro might sound like hell to some, but for others, it's a dream that I really hope could become a reality in the near future. At launch, the devs will provide a few curated custom game types in the Battlefield Portal playlist, but right out of the gate, they are encouraging users to create their own experiences, and I imagine they are excited to see what players will come up with. One thing that I really think needs to be addressed is the state of the footsteps. Currently, you can hear people from roughly like 50 yards away, and while I really enjoy being able to hear my enemy's position, it was definitely overwhelming in this situation. In some of these Portal modes where we were playing a free-for-all or just on a smaller map, it was just a constant clunk of footsteps from all around you. It was really distracting, and you didn't really know which way to look to try to find enemies. So I hope that's something that can be tweaked before or shortly after launch. There's also not a traditional leaderboard. You can see your squad stats, but as far as global scores and ranking, there really isn't a way to see those as far as I can tell for specific players. There was quite a bit of feedback on this as well during the event, so hopefully that's something that can be addressed in the future. For me, most of the gameplay was pretty smooth with minimal glitches. Occasionally there was an ADS bug, soldiers were sliding across the ground without making a running animation, and my hovercraft would glitch out when running into other vehicles, and players would seemingly duck into the ground when we were in a knife fight. But all in all, it was a real blast to play, and I could easily forgive all of that for the really fun gaming experience. Representatives said that the build we are playing is very near to what will go live on Friday for early access participants. There are a few bugs that they are aware of and have already fixed to get ready for the primetime debut. So overall, wrapping up here, personally, I am very excited to dive into Battlefield 2042 this weekend. With All Out War, Hazard Zone, and Battlefield Portal, there is a huge variety of ways to play the game. I was grouped up with a few other members from the press that have vastly different experiences with FPS games and gaming in general, and we each had our own modes that we loved and ones we didn't care for as much, thanks to that massive variety. There really is, it seems like, something for everyone in here. Well, that'll wrap up this quick look at some of the footage and the press event this week. Stay subscribed because we will have a full review coming out later once we get some more time with progression and how things actually work with full servers. So make sure you're subscribed and let us know what game type you're most looking forward to down in the comments. For me, it's Hazard Zone. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.